While you're at it, look up the trailer for Swiss Army Man.
Trailer for Swiss Army Man.
Yeah, you gotta at least understand the concept.
It's the weird. There's no concept.
Yeah, it's
somebody got really high and was like, you know what?
It was the Daniels got really high.
This is the movie we're making.
It's with Daniel Radcliff. A24.
There we go.
All right.
Yeah, if we got the A24 stamp on there, you know it's gonna be good.
I'm starting off with a hanging. Like pirates.
What?
Hey.
What?
You just have to remember
What?
that we're all here for a purpose, and the universe picks its time.
I need you to help me get home. Okay, buddy?
Okay, buddy.
What's going on?
You're a miracle.
You stuck that nigga.
Or I'm just hallucinating from starvation.
Oh, no.
You're special. You're special.
This man is carrying around a dead body and hallucinating.
Oh, I did not grasp that for some reason.
It's a Swiss Army Man.
7 billion people on the planet. You might be lucky enough to bump into the one person you want to spend the rest of your life with. Oh my God.
So this
Unlike
is
anything
the
you'll
life
ever
I
see.
forgot.
It's true. It's true.
It's absolutely true.
This is just the beginning.
Dazzling. You love to see that shit.
This man is a jet ski, bruh. This man is a jet ski, bruh.
Fueled by farts.
All the best jet skis are.
Rewatching that now after seeing everything everywhere all at
That
once
looks
and
tame.
knowing
That
that's
looks
the no, but
normal.
knowing that's the Daniels though, it's like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That was them.
Oh
Yeah.
my
It's-
God.
It is
Yeah.
a weird. It's literally a movie about this guy finding a dead body, and it exactly as it sounds like.
changes his life.
It is. The body is a Swiss Army, like a Swiss Army knife. You know,
Yeah.
it's full,
Can
full
do
of,
everything.
Full of tons of tools.
Swiss Army Man. Makes so much sense.
Have y'all seen Everything Everywhere All at Once?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw it on the plane coming
Oh,
back from
man.
Europe, and I was
You're
like,
welcome.
"Oh,
You're welcome.
my God!"
It's so
I
good.
cried when I first saw it. I don't know
When did you
why.
cry? What part of it?
At the end when she finally realized that she does love this man. It was like, oh no, it was the part where it was like, she had a flashback or something and her husband was in a suit. And
Oh my God,
he talked
that
to her.
tore me up.
He was talking to her. He's
Ron's
like, you know
teary-eyed
what?
right now.
Yeah.
Okay,
He's like, you know what? In another life, I would have loved.
Are you
to
talking
just
about
be-
in the alley?
Nothing
Yeah.
but
No, that was in another universe one. It was.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was. I couldn't remember. I just remember what he said. He's like,
I
you know
would
what?
have
In
given
another
anything
life,
just to do laundry and taxes.
Well, I was like,
and then he
oh,
walked
shit.
away, and I was
That's
like,
love.
And
that is love.
I was like,
shit.
And in
And
that
then the
universe,
music was going heavy in the
Yes.
background.
And that universe-
that music was hot.
Okay, so going
that
back to the
soundtrack was phenomenal.
Going back to the earlier conversation about what music we listen to, I listen to film scores. Like I'll
Yeah.
occasionally listen to like stuff you'll hear on the radio or something like that, or a band I really like. But for me, film scores, because I edit to it, or I write to it, where it's like there's no lyrics, where it's like you kind of just have it's easier to where it's like if I'm listening to somebody's interview or something like that and I chop it up, I'll just have a film score in the background. But it's also like when you're writing, it's like, okay, this kind of guides you for like what a scene could do and all that kind of stuff. But that music was, I love that track.
I was like,
Because that reminded me so much of my own dad. Because my dad was disabled most of my life because a lot he had a birth defect, a lot of surgeries, just
car wreck.
one complication after another. Just opened up a whole another can of worms after everything. And it was where he was saying that you mistake what I do as weakness when it's like I'm a fighter too, but I fight in a different way. And I thought the whole third act, whereas like instead of it, like in a movie where it's like the third act is like the big battle and everybody, big fight scenes, and and then she like fights everybody by like hugging them and giving them the things that they needed. It was like, holy shit, that's such a great way to flip the script on all that.
Because I was wondering, I was like, how you gonna beat this little bitch? You got to go up in that donut.
yeah.
And then like when she said it too, she was like, oh yeah, you're just like me. Oh, you have nothing. You have nothing. I was like, damn, she right. Y'all just a rock.
That was so funny. Where it's
like,
literally
y'all
just
a rock.
the rock is kind of wiggling. Other rock wiggles. Then it's like caption here. Caption there. It's so good.
It's like, what are you doing? I'm moving. You can't do that.
it's such a funny movie, but it's also got such good heart to it, and it's such a good sci-fi movie. I love sci-fi.
yeah.
Because that's a genre you could put like personal stuff. You can put like social commentary about like. It's so easy to wrap all these kind of cool concepts into. It's like, oh, it's sci-fi, but then it's like all these other layers to it. And it was so good.
The pacing of that movie is
Insane.
The fighting scenes were great too.
So he was in a movie in the '90s with Brendan Fraser. But I know he was
Don't
Data.
you discredit that man.
I know his Data. I loved him as Data in the Goonies, and then he was in Indiana Jones. So shout out also Chris Columbus because he wrote the Goonies.
He wrote the Goonies.
But he was in a movie with Brendan Fraser in 1990, I think, and that was like the last movie he was in for a while. And he's like, "Well, I'm in the business. I know how it works." So he did. I think
a stunt
he was a choreographer. So he did all that kind of stuff. And I was like, "Damn, that's him doing his own stunts." And he's like in his 40s, right?
Yeah.
And it's like that looks
he might be in
convincing.
his-
So that was him doing his own
Oh,
stunts.
yeah.
Yeah, he did all that.
yeah.
That's what he did forever.
Oh, and him pulling out the
fanny pack.
Yeah, the fanny
That
pack,
was
and then he's like,
fucking
he's changed the
hilarious.
length of it, and he's like, whips around so good. Yeah, but he did all that because that's what he did for a long time while he didn't get any acting jobs.
Dude, I'm so happy for all the cast and
I know.
everybody.
that's
Like,
crazy.
I thank God I
did you
couldn't
watch-
recognize anybody but the one lady that was the
For Freaky Friday.
Yeah, that's the only person
Jamie
I
Lee
recognized.
Jamie Lee Curtis, put some respect on that name.
Oh,
Jamie Lee
she-
Curtis did a great job.
She was
the
apparently
movie
was
wouldn't have
clutch.
been made without Jamie Lee Curtis.
She-
her
so the-
support, like for everyone on the
Yeah.
cast. She like when they did like the donut scene, when they did like the hot
bagels,
dog,
yeah.
she would show up every day like with a hot dog truck, with a
Yeah,
bagel
food
truck.
trucks coming in because the budget for that movie was like $14 million before marketing or something like that. And so,
Bruh,
like for a movie, that's nothing.
What did it end up with? Because
I
it
don't-
won hella Grammys.
It won
Oscars.
11.
Why do I say Grammys? The soundtrack should have got some Grammys.
It
I
won
wish.
11 Oscars, I think, or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Or it was nominated for 11. But yeah, she would do that because it was like she's got her own, she's well established
Yeah.
at this point. So she had nothing to worry about. So she's like going to do this for everybody. But
She believed in the
everybody's-
movie.
well,
Yeah.
well established, but I mean, it really was a movie full of people that have been not written off because they've all been loved and supported in their own ways.
Yeah,
But,
no
like
doubt.
Jamie Lee Curtis came from two parents that were actors, so she was written off when she was really young as a nepo baby, and she like got her start because of that. In quotes, her like that's why on stage it was really an impactful moment when she said like mom and dad were actors, blah blah, but I have an Oscar, because that was her saying like, sure, they did their thing and they were great, but like I did this myself. I've been a scream queen, a horror queen for years. No one took me seriously in this acting world, and now look at me, I have an Oscar. Same thing for Kiwi Kwan.
Ki Hui Kwan.
Kiwi Kwan, sure. He was in the Goonies and was in Indiana Jones, and then was completely written off because they were like, oh, you were young and cute and adorable, and now we have no value for you. And that just wrecked his self-esteem.
Yeah.
Oh man, his Oscar speech, I was sobbing during that.
Yeah, well,
I cried and I didn't even watch the movie
Oh my
yet.
God,
I
it
was
was
like,
so-
damn, this
Man,
is
it was-
emotion.
But
Yeah.
he said like his wife, he wouldn't have done anything without his wife, who said, hey, if you do this movie, you're gonna win an Oscar. You're going to like revive what you've wanted to do for decades that you weren't able to, that you felt kind of excommunicated by the film world. So
Yeah.
good for him. That was
Yeah.
incredible.
Oh yeah, it was real good. I loved it. I told my girlfriend because after they won all the Oscars, she was like, "Oh, I want to watch that." I watched it on the plane. I looked back at her. I was like, "Yeah, you don't want to watch that, baby. That's too sci-fi for you. That's too sci-fi for you. You ain't gonna like it."
I'm super excited. Like, I think Netflix is like dumping a lot of money into like the South Korea film market and stuff. Like, a lot of the movies been hidden. I heard one that I don't know if it was Peanuts or like some overseas film or independent film that I need to watch. I heard it's really sad though, so I'm like building up like a certain night.
Do
to
it,
watch
Joel. You got this.
It's from like the
Just
people.
get ready.
What's
Just
the-
be emotionally ready to go into the theater with that
I feel
headspace.
like it was like the same like actors that did they were in a basement. They were like living in a basement or something like that, and then they kind of like broke out. It was like another independent film. I just can't think of the name. Huh? The Room.
The Room with like Alison Brie. And is that who's
No, it's Brie Larson.
Brie Larson?
Probably, yeah.
That is a fantastic movie, but very hard watch. For sure, a hard watch.